literally did not think I was getting an interview, but I did, so we love that. And I knew once I got to that interview I was getting in, so I was literally so hyped. And I feel like a lot of people that aren't maths, because biology and chemistry were friends, maths, hater, a real hater. Welcome to my channel. I'm Leah Rebecca, and today I just thought I'd do a video on how I got into medical school with terrible grades and a terrible UCAT. And to be honest, I'm not gonna lie, the bad UCAT score came from the bad predictions, because I was like, why am I even doing this if I'm not gonna get in? So I feel like my UCAT score is kind of irrelevant, because if I wanted to I could have done a lot better, but I didn't because I was working so much. 2 jobs, in a care home and in a shop which we won't name because the experiences I had in that shop were just traumatic. But anyway, so for me, I was predicted an A in chemistry, an A in biology, and a C in maths. Yes, let that sink in. Maths and I, we just weren't friends. A bit worrying because the autumn exam's coming up and they still expect me to get an A. But that's a problem for another day. My mock in year 12 went so badly. I literally, like, my brain turned off in that exam, and my school based our predictions on nothing but that exam. So I was literally heartbroken. I was like, I've ruined my entire life. Like, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna have to like just work at McDonald's. I'm gonna be like homeless. Like, I've literally ruined my entire career. Like, I've been planning for this since GCSEs, and now from one exam my life is completely ruined and there's no hope. My life is over, etc, etc. But a year later, and I got into medical school, I have an offer. I did what I thought I couldn't have done. So it just shows that there's many barriers in life, but you can still overcome them. I've done a great video on Ucat tips, and I definitely recommend watching that, because I said all the things that I regret doing that worsened my score and that held me back. The weather decided to start like clouding and stuff, so the lighting's changed. So that one exam changed the directory of my life, you know. I feel like after GCSEs, you know, obviously I was like, you know, I got the grades, everything is fine. In GCSE I got 2 9s, 6 8s and 2 7s, so I was used to just living life, enjoying academics and flourishing. Got 100% in one of my exams in English, and I made a video on that as life was good. And then it's like a C prediction, when I thought like I'd get like an A star in biology, then AA, but it was just a big flop. So that was really disheartening. So one of the options for you, if you haven't got the grades that you want or need to apply the predictions, is to ask your teacher. And even in my school, I heard that a lot of people were able to get their teacher to raise them higher, but obviously that was not happening with my teacher. Anyway, so unless you're able to get your teacher to raise your prediction, you're stuck with those grades. You can look into alternative courses like biomed and then do graduate entry. But the big problem with this that people don't talk about is that graduate entry is literally 10,000 million times more competitive than undergraduate entry, because there's so fewer places. With graduate entry medicine, you will be paying the moolah. You will be having to pay, and it's literally crazy, like the fees. And it's really sad seeing people like on Instagram having to crowdfund and stuff, like, and being like kicked out and stuff for not being able to afford it. But I've seen that there's also scholarships and things to help with that. But personally for me, I knew that biomed wasn't really my calling. I feel like people don't really talk about that you can do any other course. Like, you could do anatomy, physiology, like biomedical engineering. You don't have to do biomed just because that's the most common one. I've seen that people say, like, in interviews and things, it's more interesting if you've done something more perhaps niche, and you know, you could become like a paramedic or a nurse or something, so you'd have that qualification and then you'd be able to work like as a nurse, whatever, as you studied medicine. So if you want to do a different course, just be prepared for a really long progression path. But at the same time, it's a long life. We're gonna work until we're like 70, so what's a few years, you know? And you'll make good friends, you'll probably find your spouse, and like you'll probably be buying a house and stuff. So it's not for everyone, but it also is for some people. So really don't worry. You've been able to work throughout your degree, you might be able to get lab work, you might be able to actually work, and you'll just have a really blooming CV, so that'll be a lot easier for you to apply. And also with the graduate entry medicine, it's 4 years, so it's literally like accelerated. I've seen that they don't have like holidays, they literally have like a few days for holiday instead of like the whole summer or whatever. So it's just really, really intense, but they all love it, you know, because they're finally able to do what they want to do. I've also seen people saying that it's difficult having motivation because it's like you're doing something you really don't want to be doing. But at the end of the day, you know that it's going to be for your main goal, medicine. Also, on the bright side, I've seen that some courses will allow you to transfer if you get like the highest percentage, which is so like fun, right? If you get like a first in literally every single test and like you're the highest in your year, then some universities will allow you to transfer into their medicine program. But I think you still have to do the Ucat and things like that to apply normally, and you'll have interviews. Queen Mary in London, it's like really, really competitive. I think Leicester, but I'm not sure about that, so check. But yeah, if you're really desperate to just go straight into university, not taking any gap years, it'd be good for you to try and do that and then transfer. So if you didn't have the grades, it's also likely that you're not from a very privileged background, so you could apply for widening access courses, even the 6-year courses where they're literally like a foundation year, so they'll give you a year for you to catch up. But at the same time, those are for people that were in foster care or are young carers or anything like that, where they're really, really like looking after a lot of people and struggling a lot. And they have like lower entry standards like BCC and things like that, so there's a lot of good courses for anyone. There's the medical school PDF, and it literally has like every single medical school, all of their courses and all of their requirements. So if you're looking for a widening access course, definitely look for those. And if you live in a big city, then they're so good because like they want students from their city to come to their university. If you live in a city with a university, it's very likely that there'll be a widening access course in your actual area. So they'll want you specifically and like your postcode because you're more likely to stay there after you graduate, and they want more doctors in your area. So that's definitely something to look out for if you live near a university. And most of these opportunities are in year 12. So that's one thing I did not know. I suppose with this year it's different, but make sure you sign up to summer schools and things, because it's like if you've attended their summer school, then they'll give you a different offer, and they just want to widen the playing fields. Because think about it, right? Say like there's this white boy in a private school, he's got horses, and all he's doing is just, you know, eating some hummus and studying, and then he gets 4 A stars, which, you know, well done. And then on the other hand, there's like a child who's been through foster care, who's having to like pay, who's working, who's looking after their siblings. It's like there needs to be some leveling out, so that's why they have all of these courses available. So they just want to have it to be more representative of the population, because we need to have people that understand us and that can relate to us and not be scared to have a really good doctor-patient bond. And it's just so important to have diversity and representation. So universities are really focusing on that now, and they're going to be more lenient because they need to get these people in. And it's like, it's been shown that even though people have had lower offers, they'll still do as well in the end, because once you're in that medical school, everyone's like equal, you know, and everyone is starting again. So don't be worried. It doesn't take into account your medical school, and you know, you just rank all of the places that you want to work. Medicine is really competitive, but in the end it's like everyone's a doctor, so don't worry too much about that. So about myself, luckily I'm not really that disadvantaged. I just flopped that exam, but you know, I live in a poor area and it's like the polar score is like really low. So I remember one day in geography for GCSEs, my teacher was like, oh yeah, put your hand up if you're from these certain like areas of the city, and like different boroughs, I don't even know what they're called, but yeah, so it's like everyone was putting their hand up for like the richer places. And then when she said my area, I was like, oh yeah, repping. And then she went to the next slide and it was literally like every other area was like green, and then my area was like bright red. So that is a bit of an issue, but I guess with university they recognize that, you know, you're going through it, you know, because like, you know, police coming out and like, you know, whatever, etc, etc. But basically like where there's poor progression, just all of that stuff is where I live. But that's fine. Yeah, it's like if your parents don't go to university, if you're the first in your family, etc, etc, there's a lot of things that you can look into. But for me, I was like, I kind of applied on a whim, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it, because my school was literally like scaring everyone. Like we had so many assemblies and just like apply. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna apply and just know how to use Ucat, so that when I'm like alone in a gap year, I would know what to do. So I did. And even though I say all this about biomed, for medicine I applied to ASTON, Newcastle and Bristol. My personal statement was banging, okay? And I think that's another strong reason why I got in. And I don't know if I want to read it, but just know that it was sick. Just know it. A lot of research went into those choices. And that research was in forms of scouring through their websites and going on whattheyknow.com, where there's the freedom of information, all of their statistics, reading everything, trying to understand, seeing the competition ratios, seeing how many people they let in from certain backgrounds, etc, etc, etc. So I really put the thought in, you know, though afterwards I found out more schools that I would have been eligible for, but you know, it's fine. Back then I was still so like shook, so I applied to Portsmouth and Warwick, and all of them gave me like lower offers, so that's good. So for the results of my university places, I was not expecting to get anything, and I thought I would just like be rejected from everything. I didn't think I'd even get into Warwick, you know, because you know Warwick's kind of like a flex, isn't it? But I ended up getting into Portsmouth and Warwick, and I got an interview for ASTON. I was like, what? I was like, who? Me? With that C? I had to search deep to find this. And at the time, they didn't use your predictions at all in your application, so that's great. What they used was your GCSEs, and obviously I literally like my GCSEs banged. So for ASTON, they would have your Ucat and your GCSEs to determine the interview. And I knew once I got to that interview, I was getting in. So I was literally so hyped. And I feel like a lot of people that aren't the best in academics, I suppose, I feel like I can't put myself down like that because I'm not the best in that. But in maths is the one that I don't really associate with. But the other ones were good. Like, you know, I'm not gonna put myself down like that. But I knew that I would perform really, really well in the interview. You know, med soc and working. It's like I was ready to talk. I was ready to engage and to perform in those MMIs, and I actually really enjoyed it in the end. So I think I'll make a video about that because it was a great day. Once I got that interview offer, I was like, yo, and bear in mind, I literally got it in November, you know, so that's how you know you're good, because that you're the first batch of interviews. And I was like, yeah, but then I chose the date for like the last day because I would need more time to actually prepare, because I literally did not think I was getting an interview, but I did, so we love that. With ASTON, the main reason I got the interview was because of my GCSEs. They literally brought up my average Ucat, and then I got the interview, which was fantastic. Like, the interview was literally crazy because like all of the candidates, you know, it's kind of like cutthroat. They're all like, oh, so what's your predicted grades? Oh, so which school did you apply to? And oh, I'm from da da da, and my school is the best. And it's like, okay, like, you know, I don't really want to hear this right now, but anyway, once I done that interview, I knew that I got in. Bow. This is the future, like, predicted grades are so false. On the student room, you literally see people like, oh yeah, I got 3 U's, but then my teacher predicted me 3 A's because da 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 da, and I got a B, and then my teacher gave me like 7 A stars and like an A star in EBQ because they like me. And it's like, no, like, and all the statistics saying that BAME students are always underpredicted, white students are overpredicted. So it's just like, why are we even using predicted grades? And I've seen that in other countries, they literally will use your grades that you actually get and then let you in. But I suppose now that's not even going to happen because there's no exams and result day is coming. Love to see it. We absolutely love. To humble myself again, with Bristol and Newcastle, Newcastle I got rejected from. I literally expected all these rejections, but with Newcastle they had a scheme where you had to apply, and then if you got into that then you would get a lower offer. And I wish I knew about these things when I was doing my Ucat, because literally as I was doing my Ucat I was like, there's no chance that I'm even applying. Like, I didn't think I would even apply, let alone use my Ucat. And obviously all of the other schools looked at your predicted grades, which is fair enough, but Bristol, I thought that I would be rejected, but I was actually offered biomed, and I was like, you know what, because of how much I didn't think I would get in, I didn't go to any opening days at all. But my friend went to Warwick and she said that she literally hated it, and she thought that it was like demonic, and I was like, yo, like, no, we're not doing that. Yeah, I realised that Warwick probably wouldn't be the vibe. Bristol would be more fun for biomed, but at the end of the day I'm not going to do it anyway, so yeah, they played themselves. So the offer for Bristol biomed is meant to be AAB, but they gave me BBB, so also that's great, but I'm not going. Okay, I'm not going, but you know, that's appreciated because of the polar and all the other things. My firm is ASTON and my conditional is Bristol, and if I don't get into ASTON I am staying home. I'm staying home, and that's fine. As much as my story is quite embarrassing, because, you know, obviously I'd love to say, oh yes, I got 4 A stars and I got 4 out of 4 interviews and I did every single thing, and as my 5th choice I applied to Oxford for biochemistry and I also got that offer, and also on top of that I'm going to go to Japan and I'm going to go to Korea and I'm going to see BTS, and then when I come back I'm going to be number 1, I'm going to be ranking first, and I'm going to be doing all... As much as I'd love to do that, I'm just being real with you. I did not think, when I opened my paper and saw what I got in maths and saw my prediction, I was like, this is over. Like, I'm going to have to just give up and just like take a year out and have to do what I'm going to have to do. I just wanted to tell you a more unconventional route, a more unconventional offer, a more unconventional way that works, you know, and that's what matters, because, you know, if Miss Verona hadn't happened, I would have been buying university things right now, and, you know, stethoscope and everything, I would have been fine. But, you know, grades, maths, because biology and chemistry were friends. Maths, hater, a real hater. I really hope this has been insightful. I really hope it's been inspirational, and just to know that it's not over until it's over, you know? It is not over until you die. And literally on Instagram, get on study Instagram, because there's so many inspirational people. Like, there's people that are 40, people that have like 3 children, people that used to be bankers, people that used to be like homeless. People have gone through so much, and at the end of the day they're still into medical school, they're still going to become great doctors, and we need that wide variety of people so that we've got, you know, a diverse range of ideas that can work together for a common good. So I feel like I've really exposed myself in this video, but I'm really glad that I can share my experience, and hopefully anyone who's in my position will be able to see that it's not the end. So thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.